Hello again, this is my Model Railway News update. Today is Monday the 21st of July 2025. Controversy. This is a special news report on the controversy generated online involving a particular YouTube reviewer and Accurascale. And for once it wasn't about me, thank God. Over the weekend it all kicked off over Accurascale's new Buckjumper tank engine. There's been a lot of he said, she said, with some personal jibes back and forth, and I'm not going anywhere near that in this news report because here I'm going to stick to the facts. This all stems from Speakergate, whether the little tank engine has speakers fitted or not. Of course, this is really only about if you're running your Loco on digital or not. Let's look at the two options you have for this model. From Accurascale, you can opt for either the analog version at $139.99 or the digital with sound for $239.99. So looking at the digital one first, it's advertised as having the so-called Accurathrash DCC sound fitted to it from the factory, as you can see here on the image. Looking further down the page, we see that the specification here as DCC sound fitted, and here the weight at 179 grams with a pack weight of 670 grams. I'll come back to that in a minute. But further down we see in the lighting and DCC section the specification of the sound on this model, and specifically I noted this line: factory installed DCC sound option with 2 quality sugar cube speakers contained in sound capsules located for best possible sound in the side tanks. DCC sound models only. So obviously what I'd expect here is a model that when you put it on the track, power it up with DCC, you'll get some sounds out of it. If it didn't have speakers, then it wouldn't make a sound, and then it would be not as advertised, and you'd be perfectly entitled to return it for replacement or refund due to that. Looking at the analog version, if this was powered up with an analog controller, then you'd expect it to not have any sound at all, which is normal behaviour. And yeah, I know sometimes you can get analog locomotives that make a sound under DC power. I've done a review of one of these on this channel, but this is not one of those models, so expected behaviour of this locomotive under analog control would be that it has no sound. So it not having speakers wouldn't be an issue if it was used under analog. I guess the only issue is if you bought the analog version, stuck your own chip in it and powered it up with DCC and expected it to make a sound. But should it do this without you having to fit your own speakers to it? It's all down to how it was sold to you. So let's go back to the Accurascale website. This is the analog model, the one that a certain YouTuber was reviewing, model number ACC2426. Let's look down at the specification again, and again at the lighting and DCC section where we can see it is, let's use the phrase DCC ready with an X18 socket. But the key thing here is the speakers, and it does talk about speakers, but the crucial part of this bullet is the part in brackets where it says DCC sound only models. That to me says that an analog model does not come pre-fitted with speakers from the factory. And let's just jump to the specification section where earlier we looked at the weight of the DCC one. Strangely, the weight of the model is the same at 179 grams, but the weight of the package is now 668 grams, so 2 grams lighter than the DCC version. I am assuming now that the 179 grams is wrong here, and it should say 177 grams, with the 2 grams being the weight of the DCC chip with the speakers, but that is an assumption. But otherwise, why would the packaging be lighter for an analog version? You might have an answer to that, so let me know in the comments. Either way, I'll return back to the section on the speaker and reiterate that in my opinion, speakers are not specified for the analog model, and so the reviewer who said that they were missing was actually wrong.
Naughty, naughty!
That said, I will add that it could be a little confusing here on the website spec, which may lead people to believe that their analog models would have speakers fitted, so maybe this wording needs to be tightened up a bit. And if other analog models by Accurascale or other manufacturers do come with speakers pre-fitted to analog models, it doesn't mean that this model has to have speakers fitted, especially when it doesn't say that in the spec. So that's my understanding, that this model doesn't come with speakers. Like I said, I don't want to get into the whole he said, she said thing, but I do feel it's kind of sad that Accurascale got a pasting for this, because I don't believe they did anything wrong. But what do you think? Aside from the drama, what's your take on this situation? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, that's the video folks, thanks for watching. I'm sure there'll be more coming soon, so subscribe to keep yourself up to date, and I'll see you on the next one.
So models train.